Let's Play Freelancer episode... What episode is this? I haven't done one in a while. I think this is number 5. Let's see what's going on in Flu right now. It's kind of the middle of the afternoon, or at least where I'm at, and kind of where the server's at. I'm an hour ahead of the server. See if anybody's really playing. Wow, let's log in, and there's 3 people around me.
Hey, don't fall asleep on me. Out here you'll get us killed. I'm done with my patrol.
So I basically wanted to make this video so I could rant and demonstrate advanced PvP tactics in the same video. I'm getting some bad video lag. My fraps frame is dropping from 60 to 40 pretty randomly. Like it just dropped to 40 there. I'll try to PvP though. It would kind of suck if I just made this video and then couldn't do anything. Alright. So, I'm going to try and fight and rant and talk about advanced PvP tactics at the same time. But, it's very hard. I don't know about other people, but I can't really concentrate if I'm talking about stuff when I play Freelancer. You know, sometimes when I'm fighting really good people, like Savage or something, or Cess, my face will be like glued to the screen. And like, I mean like, my face will literally be like 5 inches away from my computer screen. I'll be like, ugh! You know, it gets pretty intense when we have 2 fighters of pretty similar skill levels at this level of PvP. See, like, if I was concentrating right now, I would have killed this guy a long time ago. Not taken damage, but what can you do? Alright, so rant time. I know what I was gonna rant about. Anti-cheat. Cheaters. Cheaters. Pumpkin eaters. One of the biggest problems with Freelancer ever since, well actually it could have been before 2000. I know that when the game came out, people were cheating like crazy, spawning Cardamine, Freeport, vegetation domes, whatever those are called. But you know, people were doing that. They're spawning champ shields, making unlimited money, and that was rampant. And when the game came out, then they kind of had anti-cheat, and then people figured out other ways to cheat, more subtle cheats, PvP cheats. Everybody knows what fisheye is, and the bad thing is that fisheye isn't even detectable by most servers. In fact, the only server I know that can detect it doesn't exist anymore, which is Procyon. But like, Freelancer Universe does not detect fisheye. Now, don't let me encourage you to go out and cheat, because fisheye is fairly obvious to a good pilot. I think most good pilots would agree with me that they can pretty easily tell if somebody is using fisheye. And so you can't really get away with it against good pilots. But the problem is, here's why I'm ranting, haha, is that server staff don't take action because, quote unquote, they never get any proof. I know this for a fact because there have been a few, I'll keep their names undisclosed, but there have been a few pilots I know for certain, some have even admitted it to me, that have been using fisheye on Freelancer Universe, and they have not been dealt with. Now, I don't know if the admins ever gave them a talking to, don't do it again, but whatever happened, it didn't work because, you know, I would report them privately to RoboCop or some other admin, and, you know, I'd PvP them a month later and they'd still be using fisheye. And the admins tell me, you know, they can't ban these people because they have no proof. Now, if you're not going to take the effort into getting a solid anti-cheat on your server, it can be done. Procyon did it. I mean, I don't know if you probably... Yeah, it's not really fair to say that because, you know, Robocop doesn't have time to program, you know, his own server anti-cheat, but you can't let these things, you know, my point is that the server staff kind of pretends they don't exist, or they don't really take any real action. Nothing is being done about it. So you can log on Freelancer Universe as I speak with Fisheye, PvP with it. You could PvP me. You could be like, I'm gonna go kill Beto. That guy's a prick. You know, I'm tired of him pretending he's so good. I'm gonna go PvP Beto with my cheats on, my Fisheye, and you could kill me. I could say you're using Fisheye. I'll be like, Robocop, this guy's using Fisheye, look, I even filmed it, and it'll be like, oh, there's no evidence, you know, I can't ban him. So that's kind of part of my rant number one. The second part of that, relating to that, is that Fisheye isn't even the worst of it. There are other types of cheats, mass modding, speed gear, etc., that are still not detected by your standard, you know, what is it, Eagleware, Flak, I don't even know what they use on Freelancer Universe, but the standard FL server anti-cheats do not detect these things, and the staff does nothing to remedy this problem. And the third part of it is that the staff aren't trained to find these things in the first place. I would not say there is a single member of the Freelancer Universe staff that is capable of saying with, you know, some degree of certainty that this person is using cheats just from my own eye, because they don't have the skill for it. Now, I'm not saying, you know, I want to be an admin. I certainly don't. But, you know, stop hiring SPs and new admins that really have no idea what they're doing in regards to game mechanics. You know, how are you going to give them the authority to ban a cheater if they don't know what a cheater looks like? So that's kind of my problem with the whole cheating situation, is that you can get away with it whether you get caught or not. They can't do anything about it because they'll always say they don't have proof. And it seems to be a pretty biased system. If they don't like you, they'll ban you for cheating. It happened to me 6 times, I think, on Freelancer Universe. Not all by the same admin. You know, I was banned for cheating 6 times when they had no proof, but they said that I was cheating. And then when I tell them, you know, so-and-so is cheating, you know, you can see it in my videos, my screenshots, these kind of angular shots are impossible without cheats. They'll explain it away as lag or some other bullshit, and it's like, listen, you don't know what you're talking about. You probably PvP in this game for like 30 minutes every 2 weeks. Your level of skill is just not up to par. You shouldn't be making these decisions. If you're making these decisions off of an observer's perspective, you know, your own eye, then how is skill not relevant? That's what I don't understand. So, oh, Savage is online. Awesome. I love PvPing Savage. He's a really good opponent. But I mean, I don't want to come off as sounding like a prick, and I know that I kind of act like it in game, but that's another discussion. But those are facts, you know. You can get away with cheating, and nothing will be done about it, because until, you know, someone takes a stance like we can't do this anymore. We can't allow these cheats to happen. Now, I even know of multiple, not one, but multiple admins on the server who have at one point or another cheated on their private characters trying to get away with it like they weren't using cheats. Admins! I mean, if that doesn't stink of some type of corruption, you tell me. And now, I don't think these admins are part of the server staff anymore, but I also don't think the reason that they're not is because of them cheating. as in more of they were removed from inactivity or things of that nature. But, you know, it's got to stop, and it's only going to stop when the Freelancer Universe player base says, listen, something needs to be done. We need to hire, like, you know, a council of good players. You know, put Dragon on the council, put frickin' Sesomaru, Prodigy, whatever. I don't want to be part of this. I'm just telling you people that something should be done, because it is an issue, and you can all pretend like it's not. You know, when I accuse people of cheating sometimes, a lot of the time I'm just trolling, which is, you know, kind of obvious to some people, but other people think I'm serious. But I do troll a lot, and I'll be like, you're using fisheye, and etc, etc, and I'm just doing it to get a rise, you know, a reaction out of them. But, you know, when people like LOL at me, even if I am trolling, you know, even if I am trolling and saying so-and-so's cheating in system chat, whatever, and people are like, lol, Beto, you're so silly, you're so dumb, you're mad, it's like, I am undisputably one of the best players on the server. It is possible to cheat. Why are you laughing at something like this? You know, you think that everybody's playing by the rules? I don't think so. In fact, I know so. So, you know what? You know, you can LOL and pretend to ignore the facts all you want, but it exists. So, I'm gonna try and stop talking about cheating because it's just making me angry. It gets on my nerves. So let's talk about advanced PvP tactics, because I promised that's what else I was gonna kind of go over. So my last Eagle PvP video was kind of showing off how to turn fight. Now, I'm gonna try and show off one of my favorite tricks. It's not something that most people do. It's kind of my trademark. Nobody ever taught me this. You know, Blackhawk from Immortals kind of trained me how to PvP, but nobody really taught me this particular trick, and I call it the switch. The switch is when... oh, I'm gonna lose this fight. The switch is when you're attacking someone from one direction and you switch directions and kind of fake them out in the same pass. And what it does is, you know where your guns are gonna be. You know the trajectory that your ship is going to take, and your opponent doesn't. And it basically gives you the advantage of hitting while dodging at the same time.
We have 2 more waypoints to go.
So, I kind of wish Dragon was here so I could demonstrate the evasive first pass. I'm gonna try and do something against Savage that I do against people with really good aim. I don't know if it's gonna work this way, but we'll see. On your first pass, you should always try and get shots off as soon as the ship comes into range, and then go evasive. Now, watch what I mean by that. As soon as Savage comes into range, I'm gonna try and hit him, but then immediately go evasive. That didn't really work. That was terrible. But it works against people who focus on aiming over maneuvering, like Dragon, etc. Against Savage, unfortunately, like I said, he's a lot of fun to fight, but he's not someone I get to use a lot of the tricks on. That was kind of a trick there. I talked about that in my old PvP video about catching turns. You can see that in either the last video or the one before that. Basically, if you see someone early turning and you know, you can reverse and they'll stay in front of your guns. You can just take off all their health in one pass. It's kind of an intuition thing. Once you get better at the game, it becomes a lot easier to do. But apart from those kind of moves, it's not really kind of crazy stuff I will use against Savage, because he's a turn fighter. I'm a turn fighter, kind of just butt heads. There's not really any, not much discrepancy between our styles. Got a regen there. That's something else I'll talk about for a second. Regenning after fights. It's not part of the culture on HC. Don't care. Don't know why. Whatever. It's not really part of the culture here anyway. But I do it because I don't know. It's kind of my view is that what's the point? Like, you know, there's not really a penalty to dying, right? Who cares about KDR? Well, I mean, some people do, but apart from KDR, like, why wouldn't you want to fight an opponent at full strength versus full strength every fight? It's the best indicator of who's a better pilot. The fight is more challenging. You know, I don't want to fight Savage when he's got half hull. I'll tell him to regen. It's not a true fight. He should be at full health. That's not a fair fight for him. If I didn't kill him in the last one, that's my own fault. It should be, you know, an equal fight every time. You should not feel entitled to get an easier kill because you managed to do damage on your opponent your last fight. You failed to kill him. So that's kind of my view on it. I really don't care if other people get pissed off that I regen if they do damage on me. I don't always do it. If they only do a couple bars, you know, I won't bother. I usually don't bother regenning my shield before a fight because I do have a champion shield. Don't really care about that. Talk about champion shields now too, I guess. People think those are a little cheap. You know what? They are obviously better than Brigandine shields. There's no way to argue that. But it also shows that you supported the server. In my case, I donated to Flu once. I got the rest from buying off of other people, but you know, those people don't supported the server, so it's a good thing to have. If you see someone with a champ, you should not be complaining, because you should be thankful that they're supporting the server you play on and supporting RoboCop. There's no reason to be, you know, making fun of someone or criticizing them for running a champ, and I see it all the time. It's like, oh, you have a champ shield. It should be more like, oh, thank you for supporting Freelancer Universe so we can all play here. It's kind of the wrong attitude to take, in my opinion. So if you're complaining about champs, you should probably stop, because you look kind of like a tool. And they're really not that hard to get. If you don't want to pay for one, if you don't want to donate to the server, I've gotten like 3 or 4 champ shields from paying other players with credits. Making credits here is really easy, as I've said in a lot of other videos. I'm sure you could probably find a half dozen people left on the server who'd be willing to part with a champ shield for like 300 million, maybe a little more, but you know, it sounds like a lot of credits, but it's really not. And you know, if that's what it takes to get a champ, you should probably do it if you care about VHF PvP. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to talk about. Kind of tried to catch his turn there. Didn't work as well as I had liked. I think this is the first time, one of the first times I've ever filmed fighting Savage. Never really had a reason to. I usually only film someone if they accuse me of cheating or they are issuing some sort of challenge. You know, e-honor related things, or maybe lag or something. Oh, I know what else I'm going to talk about. Rant number 4 or 5 or whatever in the same video. Clans and the situation of, I guess you call it clan wars or lack thereof. My clan, Vito's Bandits, kind of is on a hiatus because I'm kind of on a hiatus, and also because the direction of the server is just not really improving. I mean, I guess
Shield restored.
I don't know, but you know, FN has came back. They say they want to shake things up, and they're not doing anything. There are 3 FN pilots here. I mean, I'm PvPing one of them, but you know, where's the shakeup? Why don't they just start slaughtering people? You know, I see them grouped with AVA pretty frequently. They will fight them, but usually only if they have a numbers advantage. I've yet to see FN engage AVA unless they have at least equal numbers. You know, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here or anything, but I've taken myself and 3 other of my BB pilots against like 6+ AVA. I don't really care about being outnumbered. Neither should they. If that's what it's going to take to get the server pumped up with activity, you know, don't be afraid of being outnumbered. It makes you a better pilot. And, you know, FN isn't really doing much in my opinion. They say they want to shake up the server, but I just see them sitting around and kind of acting pretentious. But, whatever. For all those curious, I think I changed up my setup a little bit. I'm using a blue blaze now. It's a good gun. Doesn't lose much damage over the Cerberus, and you save quite a bit of energy. So, like I said in one of my last videos, all the code weapons are pretty darn good. You can't really go wrong. If you like the look of a code weapon, you should pretty much use it, because they've all been rebalanced and readjusted. There are a couple codes that do like literally 2, 3, 4 damage more per shot over other ones for the same energy use, but that's just to create some kind of economical imbalance. At the end of the day, they're all basically identical, and like I said, if you like the look of a certain code, you know, it's not a bad thing to use it. They're all basically equally competitive and all pretty good. So I still don't see. There's a few people that have caught on to it and are starting to use them in their regular setups, but I still see most people running 4 nomads or 3 nomads, 2 class 9 guns, and a class 9 Tiz. Basically generic setups. So, you know, whatever. The reason my background stars aren't on right now is because I turned them off to fight in Tau 37, which is where a lot of the fights have been happening recently, the AVA home system. And by turning off background stars, it makes the white backgrounds kind of into more of a sky blue. It's still pretty obnoxious, in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a sweet system, it looks really cool, but as far as fighting in it goes, it's a little disorienting. Throws off my aim pretty considerably. So I've turned off the sky, or star backgrounds, so that the sky in that system in particular is darker. Looks like Savage just gave up. I think I will call this video Let's Play Freelancer Universe Rant Edition. trying to think what else I can complain about. Oh, he got my wing. I don't think I'll be able to win anymore. I don't know. I think the server needs more events, and I have not really been approached. I'm not going to say Robo doesn't want me to do more, I'm sure he would, but I haven't really been approached by anybody to do more events, and I'm not trying to be like Mr. Important, you know, you come to me, etc., etc. You know, I went out of my way to approach RoboCop with all these event ideas, what he wanted to do, what the prizes could be, etc., etc., what times to host them. And I'm busy and I don't really have the time for it. And I'm losing interest because it's just like, I was hoping someone else was going to take up the mantle. Maybe, you know, RoboCop would assign someone, you know, some permanent events thing. I wanted to run these every weekend, but it's a lot of effort, and I'd also like to be able to participate in these events sometime. It sucks not being able to participate and watch everyone else have all the fun. But, you know, it would be nice if they could kind of pump up the events again and do something, because clearly those boosted the activity. You know, we had the best population numbers that the server had ever seen in like 2 years for, you know, 3 weeks straight when those events were going on. So it's not like they weren't doing anything for the server. And, you know, we should be doing more of that stuff, and I kind of wish the server staff would take a more active approach and get involved instead of relying on me or other people to step up to do it for them. It's kind of like the cheating issue. They're just not tackling it. They're not bothering to.
Field restored.
I think the whole reason why I'm so put off about the whole thing in regards to events and not being interested in doing more is really just like what went down, what I experienced from running the last ones. You know, during those events, I was made an EC. An admin took away my EC after one of the events had immediately concluded. An admin deleted my EC character. Apparently I'm not trustworthy enough to hold an EC character, but I can, you know, run these events. Whatever. And then, you know, a week or two down the road from that, after my EC was restored by RoboCop, I had to go to him personally in PM to get that resolved. And then, you know, another admin made me an SP. I did not even request it. But another admin was like, you've done a lot for the server, you should really be an SP, etc. We talked on Skype. I was actually on Skype with 2 admins during this conversation, and, you know, then I log on a couple days later, the character is deleted. RoboCop tells me this admin was drunk, even though there was another admin there, you know, with us talking about it, who had no objections. And he's like, you know, you're not cut out to be an SP, or, you know, the population wouldn't accept it. And it's like, you know what, if you think the population is not going to be comfortable, or you're not comfortable with me being an SP, don't ask me to run your server events anymore, because that's, you know, honestly, that's insulting. You know, I didn't ask to be an SP. I could really care less if I'm one or not, I guess. But, you know, if you're gonna, like, you know, it's just like deleting my stuff, not even sending me a message beforehand. And, you know, I log online, what the hell happened? You get back to me 2 days later, you're like, yeah, by the way, we deleted your character because, you know, I'm not comfortable with it, or the overall general population isn't comfortable with you being in this position of power. It's like, you know, it's ridiculous. It's just like, so it's like, what's the problem here? Is your staff, you know, your staff is the one who gave me the power, or in some cases took it away. Are they incompetent? Are, you know, what's your problem with me having this power? You're gonna let me run events and give away special server donation only items, but can't let me be in an SP, because what am I gonna do? Steal money? Oh no. I'm gonna add, you know, more millions of credits to my bank account and get more cap shifts. Whatever will we do? You know, you're concerned about me abusing power when I said earlier in this video you've got or have had admins running around using cheats and on their private characters, and you've done nothing about that. I just find the whole thing to be a complete load of hypocrisy and bullshit. The server just needs to set itself straight. Alright. I think I'm done for now. I'm done with my rant. I'm done blowing off steam. Till next time.